Lewin and Kalaran are much on my mind. I would be glad if you would search for signs of them as you make your way north.
Have you heard anything of Aragorn? He was desperate to find a certain hobbit when we parted from him in Bree.
All I know is that Aragorn is rumored to have left Bree in the company of 4 hobbits of the Shire. I can only assume one of them is the hobbit he was seeking, and that they are now bound for Rivendell. There is worse news, however. On the night before they departed, the Prancing Pony Inn came under attack by unknown assailants. But take heart. If anyone can make their way safely through the wilderness, it is he. My hope is that you will find him already safe in Rivendell when you arrive.
There are so few rangers left here now. It might be dangerous to remain. What if the Black Riders should return? Maybe we should retreat.
That would be the wise course if I thought they would return. But I am certain they did not come this far merely to slaughter a small band of Dunedain. No, I will remain here with the few we have left. We cannot hope to fight the enemy, but we still have eyes and ears to gather news of their movements.
We had yet to make a count of the dead the night you sent us to Aragorn, but I thought there would be more survivors than this.
Some few are away patrolling the borders of the Shire, for even now we must attend to our duty. But sadly, many of those who were wounded in the attack died within days from some evil ailment. Even those whose wounds seemed minor. Perhaps Solana can tell you more.
What can you tell me of the Barrow Downs?
A stretch of hills covered with standing stones and ancient tombs. Many of the ancestors of the Dunedain are buried there. The place has an evil name, but I have traveled there in the past without incident. Things may be different now. Be on your guard.
We're on our way. Farewell, Halbarad.
Are you in need of healing drafts? Maradan has a supply. archers!
I'll have to wait.
Feel my wrath and despair! I will shield us from their arrows and bolts.
Their archers have the high ground. Needs more time? Got it! That one's carrying blasting power!
More goblins approach! They attack from all sides! Drive them back!
I thought elves were meant to have long lives.
Hurry! Before death claims her! friend! Double quick!
Don't leave us just yet, Lord Master. We have need of you.
Sure, it was my end. It's good to be wrong.
The elf's down! Quickly, help her! Aid our friend! Double quick! Here now! No sleeping the long sleep while we still
Elbert,
lead.
that was a close call.
Thank you, my friend. I am in your debt.
Needs more time. Aid our friend! Double quick!
That was closer to death than I'd meant to be.
Elber, that was a close call.
Eridan needs our aid!
That was too close for comfort. You have my thanks.
Rescue our friend! Quickly!
I thought elves were meant to have long lives.
I haven't the
Sure,
power!
I'd met my end. It's good to be wrong.
Rescue our friend! Quickly!
Sorry to put you to that bother, my friend.
Sorry to put you to that bother, my friend.
The elf's fallen! Aid her!
Elber, that was a close call.
Thank you, my friend. I am in your debt. A troll! Be careful!
We'll need to work together to overcome these odds.
needs our aid!
Don't leave us just yet, Lord Master. We have need of you.
Sure, I'd met him wrong. This could be wrong.
Orcs! Let it go!
I need a little help.
I must have aid.
I need help.
Up with you. We need your help.
Sorry to put you to that bother, my friend.
On our
Much appreciated, friend.
He summons reinforcements.
We'll need to work together to overcome these odds.
Can't do that yet.
Enter the sphere of light and be healed.
Rescue our friend, quickly!
These are frightful odds.
Rescue our friend, quickly! Come on, Ranger. There are still foes to defeat.
That was too close for comfort. You have my thanks.
That was too close.
I've never seen such big orcs. fallen! Aid him! Rescue our friend!
Here, my friends, gather to this healing light.
He summons reinforcements!
Aid our friend! Double click! The ranger's down! Quickly, help him!
I thought elves were meant to have long lives.
Elbereth, that was a close call. We must work together to overcome these odds.
Can't do that.
us just yet, Lord Master. We have need of
I
you.
was sure I'd met my end. It's good to be wrong.
Can't do that yet. I'm told the Borrowed Downs are filled with ancient tombs. What do you know of them, Elf?
These tombs were made by the fathers of men in the depths of time. They were sacred to the men of Arnor, and they too buried their dead here, until their kingdom fell to the Witch King.
These hills have an evil reputation in the folklore of the Shire and Bree, but rangers travel here often without incident. Still, I feel a sense of unease. We must stay alert.
What have you found?
Rangers camped here perhaps 2 or 3 days past. These footprints could easily be those of Lilin and Galara.
Can you tell where they may have gone from here?
The tracks lead deeper into the towns.
Then we should follow them. Lead the way, Aradan.
don't like the looks of this spot one bit. So this is truly our best route? Through a graveyard? Dead men awaken! On our menu! Was that a troll?
What manner of wretched creature is that?
They'll have to wait. Needs more time. pretty obvious now. Fell the missing rangers.
As long as there is a chance they still live, I won't give up the search.
The dead are upon us! Not a bit to my liking. Looks like there's writing on these stones, but it's very worn. Can your elven eyes make it out, Lore Master?
Faintly. It appears to be a list of names, many of them scratched in haste. They are identified as soldiers of Cardalon.
The men of Cardolan were among the last of my ancestors to hold out against the evil of the Witch King. The histories tell us that they used the Barrow Downs as their last refuge in a hopeless fight.
Then this must be where they laid their fallen comrades to rest. It would be fitting if we were to drive the Whites from this tomb.
They're still coming! I can make short work of this barrier. Ah, there's a poor excuse for a hidden door here.
I would be surprised to see you've returned so soon, but Solana told me you were seeking a remedy for Eleron. I'm glad you've taken the time to do this. Quickly now, take the Athelas to her before it's too late.
Let me see what you have found. Yes, this is indeed Athelas. Now, according to the old law, all I need to do is add these leaves to boiling water. Let Eleron breathe in these fumes.
Solana? And our dwarven friend as well. How can this be? I thought you were all slain. But no. That was only the dark voices in my dreams. Yet, it was not all a dream, was it?
A dream? More like a nightmare. The Black Riders cut us down like sheep. Only a handful survived.
This is not the time to trouble the lad with tales of this sort. He needs rest, not new sorrows.
No, it's all right. It's best I know the truth. At least not all were lost. That gives me hope.
You held your ground when others fled. You're a brave man.
I tried to do my part, but I'm afraid I was not much use. I remember being scared mostly, and then the darkness fell. I thought it was the end of all things.
It's a good thing Solana here knew how to save you.
Mine was the knowledge, but it was this brave dwarf who found the herb that saved you, at great personal risk.
Then I owe you my life, friend. Please, let me show my appreciation. My weapons were made in Lost Numenor in the distant past. They've been in my family for generations. I want you and your friends to have them now.
Numenor? I've never heard of that land.
Numenor was the land of my ancestors, a great civilization. But it sank beneath the sea thousands of years ago. Only a handful of survivors, led by Elendil, escaped here to Middle-earth.
And who was this Elendil?
A mighty lord of Numenor. It was he who founded the realms of Arnor and Gondor long ago. Our chieftain Aragorn is his heir.
Hush, boy. You forget that we Dunedain still keep our secrets.
Yes, I'm sorry, I grew careless. Forget I spoke. But come, my friend. Will you accept my gifts?
My thanks. It is a fine gift. You'd best rest now. Farewell to you both.
Are you in need of supplies? I have a few things here for you to look at. Or maybe you've picked up a few things along your way that we can use here. If so, I'll gladly take it off your hands. We've been living pretty lean here lately.
Good to see you again. How have things been here?
Ah, well. We had the sad task of laying our slain brothers to rest. But there has been no sign of the enemy since that day. Perhaps they found whatever it was they were seeking. Or perhaps they're searching for it elsewhere now.
Does your gear need repair?
We dwarves have a saying. Faithless is he who says farewell when the road darkens. I came here to help protect the Shire, and that's what I intend to do still.
They say it is hard to change the mind of a dwarf. I, for one, am glad of that.
Are you in need of supplies?
So tired. Must rest.
You must forgive the harsh words I spoke to you before. It is hard for a healer to be so helpless. You have done a great thing in saving the lad's life. That is one, at least, that the darkness will not claim. Thank you.
It took both of us to save his life. Thank you, and farewell.
well. And look here. The broken shards of a ranger's sword. I know this blade. It belonged to Kalari.
This is proof your comrades were here. Where are they now?
The tracks show where two bodies were dragged to the entrance of that large panel.
Were they living or dead?
That I cannot say.
The only way to discover their fate is by following them.
This tomb makes me swallow a chill.
This is no place for living men. Let's find my friends.
Let's hope we're not too late. Let us stand and fight together! that yet.
It would be fitting if we were to drive the whites from this tomb.
This will strike you down!
I fear you are Lewin and Kalaran's only hope. Please, return to the Barrow Downs and take up the search once more.
Tell me about these Barrow Whites.
They are evil spirits that inhabit the remains of men buried long ago in the tombs of the Downs. It was the Witch King, he who leads the Nazgul, who first summoned these creatures to plague the North long ago. Many of those tombs belong to the ancestors of the Dunedain. A fact the Witch King knew well when he chose to defile them. I fear you are Lewin and Kalaran's only hope. Please, return to the Barrow Downs and take up the search once more.
Living or dead, we'll know their fate. Goodbye for now.
I fear you are Lewin and Kalar...
Goodbye, Halvarad. Think he's alive. Come on then, Lewin. Time to awaken. Wake up!
No strength can prevail against this sickness. What good are swords in the face of this plague? What in the name of... Eridan?
Yes, it's me, my friend.
I have been dreaming.
What was all that about a plague?
I don't know. It was as if I was someone else. I remember a plague and despair.
The Great Plague. Nearly 300 years ago, it devastated the Dunedain of this region. You were sharing the dreams of those for whom this tomb was made.
Well, let those dreams remain with the dead. I want no more of them.
How did you end up at this darksome hall?
I recall we were making good speed through the Downs, eager to return to our friends. But a fog began to rise and it became hard to find our way. And we heard voices calling to us, as if from far off, or else underground. And then, the dead were all around us. We fought them, but then I felt the presence of something else, something Stronger, more evil. I saw a shadowy figure seize hold of Kalaran and he fell senseless. And he came for me. That's all I remember. But if I was brought living into this tomb, then the same would be true for Kalaran. We need to find him.
That's what we intend to do. Are you strong enough to join us?
Yes, I think I can keep up with you.
Let us press on at once.
It's Kalaran!
Back on your feet, my friend. We need your help.
Quickly, before death claims him!
Enter the sphere of light and be healed. I'm sorry about what happened to your comrade, Lewin. Are you going to be all right?
First Black Riders, now Barrow-wights. This is more than men should have to contend with. But where there is life, there is hope. Thanks for your concern, but I will be all right. I owe it to those who have fallen to go on as best I may.
We've gathered some rich treasures from this tomb. You certainly deserve a share.
Thanks, but it would only serve to remind me of all of this. You keep what you have won.
You've been through a lot. Maybe you should come with us to Rivendell. Or we can take you to Bree. It's not far away.
No, I feel my strength returning. I'll soon be myself again. And then I will bear Kalaran's body away from these tainted tombs. He should be buried with the rest of his brothers who fell at Sarnford.
That's a noble mission. I hope he can rest in peace now. Farewell.
I will need a short rest to regain my full strength. Then I will be on my way back to Sarnford. Good luck to you, Master Dwarf.
Ah, Master Elrond. Allow me to present to you Farin of Erebor, a very valiant dwarf.
Indeed. It is an honor to welcome one so brave to my home, and your companions as well.
I am grateful for what you did at Fornost. If Agandar's forces had joined in the hunt, there is little chance that I and my charges would have made it here to safety.
My thanks. Are you the lord of these halls?
Yes, I am Elrond Half-Elven, Lord of the Refuge of Imladris, or as you know it, Rivendell.
Half-Elven? Are there men in your heritage, then?
Both my sire, Earendil, and my mother, Elwing, had fathers who were of the Edain, the most noble of the men of old. They and their descendants are called the Parenthil, which means the Half-Elven.
Are you then of mortal kind, like other men?
To each of the Parathil is given a choice, whether to become mortal or to accept the life of the Eldar, the Elves. Long ago, I chose to be counted among Elvenkind. My own children will face this choice as well.
I'll admit I'm surprised a dwarf can find so warm a welcome in the hall of an elf lord.
Conflicts there have been between our folk in the past, but you are one of the trusty folk of Durin's line. More often than not, your people and mine have been allies and friends.
I'm glad to see you made it here in one piece, Aragorn. But I still have no idea why your mission was so urgent.
I think it is time we told our newfound friends what they have gotten themselves into.
Gandalf! I should have known you would be involved with this somehow.
Indeed. Wherever there is trouble and strife, and the enemy is stirring, there you will find Gandalf the Grey.
I believe I have begun to glimpse the truth, yet I would gladly hear your explanation, Mithrandir.
You have more than earned such an explanation. Tell me, what do you know of Isildur's Bane?
I know nothing of this. What is Isildur's Bane?
Isildur's Bane is the Ring of Power, forged by the Dark Lord Sauron long ago.
Into this ring, Sauron bound the greater part of his power, but it has been lost for many hundreds of years.
Why did Sauron make the ring?
It was part of a grand deception. Sauron taught the elves the art of making rings of power, but secretly he planned to make one master ring through which he could control all the lesser rings and those who wore them.
Learning at the hands of the Dark Lord sounds pretty foolish to me. Why would your folk ever do such a thing?
At that time, Sauron was still able to assume what form he wished. He came to the elves in a fair guise, and played on their greatest desire, to preserve and protect what they loved in Middle-earth.
Eager for knowledge, they learned from him and made many rings. The greatest of these were Narya, Nenya, and Vilya, the three rings of the elves. When Sauron forged the One Ring, the elves were instantly aware of his betrayal.
The Dark Lord made war on the elves and seized the lesser rings. These he gave freely to dwarves and men. Those same men who became the Nazgul. To Sauron's dismay, the dwarves proved less easy to dominate. By force, he took back 3 of these dwarven rings. The rest were consumed by dragons and destroyed.
The elves were very hard-pressed, and Sauron's dominion spread over the greater part of Middle-earth.
But Sauron was defeated nonetheless.
An alliance was formed between elves and men, and together they drove back the armies of Sauron.
In the end, Gil-galad and Elendil threw down Sauron, at the cost of their own lives.
What happened to the ring after Sauron's defeat?
It was claimed by Isildur, Elendil's heir. It was he who cut the ring from the Dark Lord's hand with a hilt shard of his father's sword Narsil, broken in the battle.
I counseled him in vain to cast the ring into the fires of Mount Doom, near at hand, but he would not heed me.
You did? But wasn't the War of the Last Alliance a long age ago?
So it was indeed, but my memory stretches back even to the Elder days. In the War of the Last Alliance, I served Gil-galad, and I witnessed the overthrow of Sauron, and Isildur's claiming of the ring firsthand.
So the ring was not destroyed, and now it has turned up again.
Quite right. After lying lost and nearly forgotten for centuries, Sauron's ring has once again been found.
Do you mean to say the hobbit Aragorn rescued has come into possession of the Dark Lord's ring?
Aye, that would explain those accursed Black Riders. But what is to become of the ring now?
There is no safe resting place for the ring, not even here in Imladris. It is a danger to all who come near to it. There is only one course left to us. The ring must be destroyed.
To do so, the ring will need to be cast into the same fires from which it was forged. Those of Mount Doom, in the land of Mordor. The hobbit, Frodo Baggins, has agreed to take it there.
It cannot be that you will send a halfling alone and unaided into Mordor.
No, certainly not. A fellowship will be formed. A fellowship of 9. 9 walkers set against Sauron's 9 Black Riders. Among this fellowship will be representatives of all the free peoples of the world. Elves, dwarves, and men. Aragorn and I will both be going.
We've proven we can handle a fight. Let us join this fellowship of yours.
The hope of the Company of the Ring lies in speed and secrecy, not in strength of arms. Their number must be few. Even were we to send 1,000 such warriors on this journey, it would do little more than arouse the wrath of the Dark Lord.
We are at your command. Tell us what we can do.
The Nazgul and Agandaur are dire threats. We must learn all we can of their movements before the Fellowship is to depart. Scouts will be sent out in every direction to scour the lands around Rivendell. Your aid in this would be of great service to our cause.
Very well. Where should we start?
Agandaur is our chief concern. Although the Nazgul are powerful foes, our mission here in the north is abundantly clear. We can only guess what Agandaur may be planning, or where he went after he escaped from you.
I suspect he may be planning to move against us here. Sauron's hatred of the elves is very great, and he does not forget the hand we played in his defeat during the War of the Last Alliance.
If it is strength he wants, he may well find it among the Ettenmoors.
You know that region better than I. What can you tell me of the Ettenmoors?
The Ettenmoors are a spur of the Misty Mountains, lying almost directly north of Rivendell. It is a wild region of very rugged terrain, home to many trolls and giants.
I myself was in the Ettenmoors but days ago. I saw no sign of Agandaur's presence, but neither did I encounter trolls. That fact alone is troubling. It could be that they are gathering in force, somewhere among the moors.
If that's so, we don't want them taking us by surprise. We'll make our way to the Ettenmoors and see what we can find out.
From what I have heard of you, from Aragorn and Elrond's sons, I expected no less. Still, you have had a long road and hard fighting to get this far. Take what time you need to rest and recover before you set out. The Ettenmoors are a dangerous place for the unprepared.
The hospitality of my house is yours, for as long as you wish.
Ah, Farin. It is good of you to seek me out. You are a stout dwarf, like all of Durin's folk, and your courageous deeds have shown your worth.
What's Agandaur after? There are no mighty kingdoms to be found on this side of the Misty Mountains. What's Sauron afraid of here?
Sauron seeks dominion over all of Middle-earth. His desire is to order all things as he sees fit. Even were these lands empty from here to the sea, still he would seek to control them. There is power in Rivendell that could stand against him when all others fall, for a time. And this is something Sauron cannot allow.
I came all the way from the Lonely Mountain to help guard the Shire. Should I abandon what I set out to do?
You fulfilled your oath and protected the Shire when you were needed there, my good dwarf. Now you're needed more urgently elsewhere. With the flight of the ring in this direction, the enemy is looking this way. and has forgotten the Shire for now. For now. But eventually his eye will turn once again toward the Shire, as humble as it is. Hobbits as miserable slaves would please him far more than hobbits happy and free. And there is such a thing as malice and revenge. Sauron will leave the final devastation of the Shire to his servant Agandaur. And that is yet another reason why you must find him, put an end to his designs. In opposing Agandaur, you are defending the Shire.
We had one of the great eagles lend us a hand at Claw at Fornost. Right-handy he was too. I was thinking he might help us get rid of the ring.
I don't fault you for thinking along those lines. Why not beg a ride from an eagle, fly far out to the west, and drop the ring into the deepest part of the sea? Such ideas were debated at Elrond's council. But there are many things in the deep waters, and seas and lands may change. We cannot think of our time alone. We must destroy this thing forever.
A hobbit wouldn't be a burden to an eagle. Send him straight to Mount Doom and problem solved.
Indeed. So simple as that. You think so mighty a creature as one of the great eagles could simply waft into Mordor and escape the eye that never sleeps? No. Not all the eagles of the Misty Mountains could stand against Sauron and the full power of his ringwraiths. It would be folly. Nor, for that matter, do the great eagles take orders from us.
This orc lover, Agandaur. Do you know anything about him?
Well, I know nothing of Agandaur himself. I have seen his kind at other times in distant lands. He is likely a black Númenorian, and a master of dark sorceries.
Well, that doesn't sound good. Just what we need, a sorcerer with a 5,000-year-old grudge against all free folk.
Who can say what promises Sauron has made to him? Perhaps even a ring of his own. At the very least, Agandaur expects to rule all of the North. He would be a cruel tyrant. The elves he will seek to utterly destroy. Hobbits, men, dwarves, any that survive, will be enslaved. And he will raise an iron kingdom in the north, in mockery of the ancient glory of Arnor. This is his dark dream. It must never come to pass.
We had one of the great eagles lend us a hand at Claw at Fornost. Right-handy he was too. I was thinking he might help us get rid of the ring.
I don't fault you for thinking along those lines. Why not beg a ride from an eagle, fly far out to the west, and drop the ring into the deepest part of the sea? Such ideas were debated at Elrond's council. But there are many things in the deep waters, and seas and lands may change. We cannot think of our time alone. We must destroy this thing forever.
A hobbit wouldn't be a burden to an eagle. Send him straight to Mount Doom and problem solved.
Indeed. So simple as that. You think so mighty a creature as one of the great eagles could simply waft into Mordor and escape the eye that never sleeps? No. Not all the eagles of the Misty Mountains could stand against Sauron and the full power of his ringwraiths. It would be folly. Nor, for that matter, do the great eagles take orders from us.
Yes, sorry. I was just thinking about poor Frodo is all, and wishing there were some way he could be spared a trip into the very heart of the enemy's Black Realm.
You have a good heart, and I wish it could be so. We debated many such notions. I had even given thought to dragons. There was a time when dragon fire could destroy a ring of power. But even if the mightiest of the dragons of old, and Calagon the Black, were alive today, his fire would not be enough to consume the One Ring, Sauron's ring. No, there is no other way. Frodo must go to Mount Doom, and you have a foe of your own you must contend with, Agandaur. And there is no telling what allies and powers he is gathering.
When we first spoke, you said you recently passed through the Ettenmoors. Can you tell me anything more of them?
It is a rough and empty land, home to many trolls. I passed through with great haste, for I needed to reach Rivendell as quickly as I could.
You said there was no sign of trolls.
I saw neither trolls nor fresh signs of them, and that disturbs me more than encountering one. I doubt they've all packed up and left. Mindless brute creatures they may be. Yet they can be used and driven to even greater wickedness by a strong enough hand. Agandaur could well be forming them into an army.
Do you think he's mustering the trolls for an attack?
That is my fear. I would gladly be proven wrong, but my heart misgives me that somewhere in the Ettenmoors you will find them gathering and being prepared for war. We must know. Such a force could be sent against Rivendell, perhaps in hopes of capturing the ring.
I'll get my friends and we'll head for the moors. If there's something to find, we'll find it.
Welcome, dwarf of the Lonely Mountain. Welcome to Imladris. Are you in need of anything to help you in your travels? I have many things in my keeping that might serve you well.
Imladris? Where is that?
Your pardon. This is Imladris, the house of Elrond Half-Elven. We who dwell here call it by that name, but it is more commonly known as Rivendell.
What sort of folk dwell here in Rivendell?
Elves, for the most part. My people have dwelt in Imladris for a very long time indeed. But there are other folk to be found here as well. Elrond welcomes all people of goodwill. The Dunedain come often, your own folk come occasionally. We are even home to one special hobbit.
Who is this hobbit you speak of?
Why, it is none other than Bilbo the Magnificent, greatest of the Shire folk. Your folk know him well as the hobbit who overthrew the dragon Smaug and helped reclaim your lost realm of Erebor. Although these days he is more interested in poetry than adventure. And food and drink, of course. Keeping a hobbit well fed is enough to keep several stewards busy.
This is such a peaceful place. It must take a fair number of warriors to keep it so.
This is a place of learning and peace, not a fortress or camp of war. But there are those here who wield great power, especially the Lord Elrond. Yet even he does not have the strength to overthrow the Dark Lord, or to resist him if he comes against us with great strength.
I intend to do all I can to see that day never comes.
Nobly spoken. I am told you have done great deeds on behalf of all free folk, and I am certain you will accomplish greater things still. But if you plan to contend with the enemy, you must be well prepared. Perhaps you should examine the stores we have on hand.
What can you tell me about Elrond?
To tell you everything I know of Master Elrond would take many days. Let it suffice to say that he is an elven lord of great and noble lineage, ancient beyond mortal reckoning, and wise beyond measure. None are more skilled as a healer, or more versed in the lore of ages past.
My thanks for the welcome, lady. Might I ask your name?
No, indeed. I am Alare, one of Master Elrond's stewards. I help to manage the needs of his household, including arms and armor. I suspect you might have need of such things.
I'm surprised to find elves who are so hospitable to a dwarf. Pleased, mind you, but surprised nonetheless.
In other places there may be distrust between elf and dwarf, but all who bear no ill will toward the elves are welcome here. You have already done a great deal to aid our common cause, so I am happy to call you an ally and a friend.
Oh, it's an honor to be called friend by such a gracious and beautiful lady.
I was unaware that dwarves had such flattering tongues. Perhaps you should look at the stores I have on hand. Maybe you will find something else to catch your eye.
You don't look like any elf of Rivendell. I'd wager you are one of the wood elves of Mirkwood.
You are correct. I am Legolas, son of Thranduil, king of the Woodland Realm. And I believe you are a dwarf of the Lonely Mountain.
That's right. I'm Farron of Erebor. Strange meeting a wood elf here, when I so seldom see them at home.
It is true. The distance between our two realms is not great. Yet it seems we seldom have dealings with your folk.
If things are cold between our folk, it is not the fault of the dwarves.
Oh? I had not heard the fault lies with the elves.
Oh, let me refresh your memory then. Your father imprisoned our king, Thorin Oakenshield, when he found him lost and starving in Mirkwood.
Your Thorin refused to give a good account of himself. We who dwell in Mirkwood do not keep our borders safe by trusting every ragged wanderer who trespasses in our realm.
So, now you insult one of our most revered kings. If I were not a guest in an elf lord's hall, I would have more to say about that.
As usual, you overreact. Dwarves and their stiff necks. You may be useful allies at need, but I will never understand how anyone could be friends with a dwarf.
Hello! Always happy to meet a dwarf. And one from the Lonely Mountain, if I'm not mistaken.
I am Farron of Erebor, and we've met before, Bilbo Baggins.
Have we now? Oh, I'm afraid I don't recall. You'll have to forgive me. I've grown somewhat forgetful lately.
We met upon your last visit to Erebor. I guess that was near 20 years ago now. And before that, I had the honor of sharing the field with you at the Battle of Five Armies. That was my first real taste of battle. I was hardly more than a lad at the time, but it was a glorious day.
Oh, yes, the Battle of the Five Armies. A nasty business, that. Personally, I'm glad those days are behind us. But then again, it seems as if they may not be. Everything seems to be pointing to some dark times ahead. Speaking of which, I'm told that you and your friends did a great deal to help my Frodo and the Dunedain reach Rivendell safely. You'll have to tell me all about it one of these days so I can write it down properly.
This Frodo, he is your heir, but I had not heard that you had a son.
Oh no, he's not my son. Actually, he's my first cousin once removed. And also my second cousin once removed. Well, it's complicated, but we share a great-grandfather. The poor lad was orphaned at an early age, and so I adopted him. Made him my heir, all nice and legal, while simultaneously dashing the greedy hopes of my odious relations, the Sackville Baggins. He's a good lad, Frodo. I only wish he hadn't inherited my troubles along with my estate. I hope that Gandalf and the Dunedain will keep him safe in the days ahead.
The Dunedain? Who do you mean?
Why, Aragorn, of course. From the Elvish, Dun-Adan, man of the West. Númenorian. Around here, Aragorn is often known simply as the Dunedain. A remarkable man, Aragorn, and a good friend. I almost wish that I could accompany him on his grand quest, but I'm far too old for adventures now. I only hope I will be spared long enough to write it all down.
What is it you write?
Oh, a little of this and a little of that. History, my past adventures, family trees. I've even begun a book of translations from the Elvish, although lately I've been working on poetry mostly. Say, maybe you could help me with that. I'm writing a poem for Aragorn, and I'm a bit stuck on a line or two.
Are you now? Well then, let me hear what you have.
Very well, very well. The verse that's giving me trouble runs like this. The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled.
The light from the west is rekindled. Forth from Imladris it springs. Renewed is the hope that has dwindled. A bloody sword he swings!
Oh, well, yes. Yes, that would be one option, wouldn't it? It's apparent that you have more of the warrior than the poet in you, my friend.
Yes, but we have more need of warriors now.
Oh, I'm afraid you're right, but since these old hands are not much use with a sword, I'll just keep on with the pen. Though I'll need some help. Perhaps you could show this to the Lady Arwen. She has her people's gift with words, and this touches her deeply, after all.
Arwen. And who is that?
Why, she's Elrond's daughter, of course, and Aragorn's beloved as well. Although you didn't hear that from me, she's a sweet lady, and I'm sure she'd be willing to give me a hand with this.
I'll take it to her.
Ah, thanks very much. Be sure to give her my compliments, won't you?
I'll be sure to do that. Farewell, Bilbo.
Farin, my lad, by my beard, it's good to see you again. When you left Erebor to stand guard on the Shire, Gimli and I feared we might be seeing the last of you. Now I hear you stood with the Rangers in the battle against the Nazgul at Sarn Ford, and bested an orc chieftain at Fornost. Good work!
I can't take all the credit. I had Andriel, an elf of Rivendell, and the ranger, Erodan, at my back.
Reminds me of the old days when dwarves, elves, and men fought together in the Battle of the Five Armies.
It does my heart good to see you, kinsman. But something dire must have happened to bring you all the way here.
All is well enough at the mountain, don't fear. The enemy's servant makes threats, but we will stand fast. Gimli is hereabouts, and he can give you the details. We came at the bidding of King Dane. With the enemy seeking news of Bilbo, Dane thought we should come to Elrond for counsel. I never imagined what I'd learn when we got here, but it may be wise to say no more.
Gandalf has told us of Frodo's burden. It's no wonder Sauron's messenger came to us looking for news of hobbits.
Alas, that we should live in such times. Well, Frodo knows what he must do. If I were younger, I'd go with him. But we must each serve where we are most needed, even as you must, with such friends as you trust.
And where's that? Where would you have me go? Back to Erebor?
That's plain as the beard on my face. It's right here, of course. You've uncovered a deadly enemy in this Agandaur. As long as he's free to carry out Sauron's will, he'll gather more orcs, goblins, and trolls to his banner. Rivendell, the Shire, the Brelons, no place will be safe from his wrath. He must be stopped.
And besides, it wouldn't hurt to keep Sauron a little distracted. If we keep him second-guessing his plans for the conquest of the North, it could only help Frodo in the long run.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you.
Hello. You are Farin, aren't you? I was hoping I would get a chance to speak with you.
Hi, and you must be Frodo Baggins. Aragorn and Gandalf have told me all about you, and the burden you bear.
Likewise, they have told me all about you. I wanted to thank you and your friends for all you did to keep us safe on our journey to Rivendell.
I think most of your thanks should go to the Rangers who fell at Sarn Ford.
You are right, of course. For my part, I will never forget what they have done for us. Even though none of those they protected were even aware of their watch. I should like to think the people of the Shire will be safe now. There have been times in the past when I felt that an earthquake or an invasion of dragons might be good for them. But I don't feel like that anymore. Knowing the Shire lies behind, safe and comfortable, will make my journey more bearable.
I came west to help protect the Shire, and I'm not about to quit now. Those of us who are staying behind will do everything we can to keep the North safe.
That is a comfort to me. I only hope that I can live up to your example.
Take heart, Frodo. You'll have some stout folk along with you. Aragorn and Gandalf won't lead you astray.
Yes, I can't think of a better pair to have with me in a pinch than Gandalf and Strider. Without them, I would feel as if I was wandering alone in the dark.
You've got hidden strength in you. Like all your kind, it seems. I think you will do us all proud. Good luck to you, and all who go with you.
Hello again. This stay in Rivendell has done wonders for me. I almost feel like my old self.
Will you tell me about your journey here? Sounds as if it were a rough one.
We had trouble almost from the start. The Black Riders were always just behind us, and we nearly met disaster in the Burrow Downs, at Bree, and again at Weathertop.
You came through the Burrow Downs? I won't soon forget that accursed place. You were lucky to come out alive. That's no place for hobbits to go a-wandering.
You seem to know a great deal about the Burrow Downs already. I'd prefer not to speak about what we found there. It is too horrible to dwell on, even here in the safety of Rivendell.
What happened to you in Bree? We must have just missed crossing paths there.
There were spies in Bree, and our room was attacked in the night. If Strider hadn't convinced us to sleep elsewhere, our journey would have ended then and there.
What happened at this place called Weathertop?
We were attacked by 5 of the Black Riders. I was foolish, and I put on the ring. One of them wounded me before Aragorn managed to drive them away. The knife that was used against me left a shard in the wound. From what Gandalf has told me, the fragment was working its way inward. If it had reached my heart, I would have become a wraith under the power of the Black Riders. Fortunately, we were able to reach Rivendell in time for Elrond's healing arts to save me.
It is a little thing, this ring, but filled with mischief. Will you show it to me?
No, I mean, I'm sorry, but Gandalf and Elrond have warned me against revealing the ring to anyone, even proven friends. I hope you understand.
I think I do begin to understand. I shouldn't have asked. Forgive me.
There is nothing to forgive. But the ring, it has a strange effect on everyone around it. It is better for it to remain hidden.
It truly is a heavy burden you bear, Frodo. I hope you'll find strength and wisdom on the long road ahead. Farewell.
Greetings to you, Farin. Many times in the past have I welcomed your kin to my home. The bond between our kindred has at times been shaken, yet it has never been broken. Always before, I have placed my trust in Durin's folk, and never have they betrayed it. You will always be welcome here in Imladris, my friend. Yet I am certain you did not come here merely to exchange pleasantries. That is not the Dwarven way. Do you have questions for me?
I found this scroll at Fornost. I think maybe you should take a look at it.
A wise decision. This is writ in the black speech of Mordor, a language I will not utter here. It is intended to instruct the reader in the use of dark sorceries.
Well, maybe we should turn the tables on the enemy by making use of this scroll ourselves.
Have a care, warrior of Erebor. You tread on dangerous ground when you harbor such thoughts. This, like all works of the enemy, is altogether evil. Any who make use of this, even from a desire to do good, will only be corrupted by it. Surely the ring has taught us that much.
What is the Black Speech?
A language devised by Sauron when he desired a single tongue to be spoken by all who serve him. He had small luck introducing it to the scattered tribes of orcs and trolls, but it is still used by his highest-ranking servants.
We faced orcs at Fornost who used spells against us.
Then it seems this has already been put to use. That is grim news. The Dark Lord is a master of necromancy and other foul sorceries. He has taught these abominations to men in the past, but never, to my knowledge, to orcs.
I don't like the sound of that word, necromancy. What is it?
Necromancy is the darkest form of sorcery. It deals with raising the dead.
The Dark Lord has this power?
He does indeed. It was for this reason he was known as the Necromancer when he still dwelt in the fortress of Dol Guldur in Mirkwood. At that time we did not know this was Sauron returned, but we knew there was a great evil there. Have you not experienced this power firsthand in your journey through the Borrow Downs? It was Sauron's chief servant, the Witch King, who summoned the Borrow Wights to infest those tombs.
I was told that many of the men buried in those tombs were the Dunedain. How is it that Sauron can make them forget their past loyalties?
These shades are not truly the dead returned to life. Not even Sauron has that power. It is accomplished through the summoning of malignant spirits to inhabit the remains of the dead. It is a mockery of life, and the foulest form of desecration.
Good thing we captured this, then. What will you do with it?
I will destroy this scroll, at the very least. But wait, here I discover more. Listen to what is written herein. Scribed by the hand of Agandaur, disciple of the great Lord Sauron, for the empowerment of his servant Wulfren and those others of his faithful who prove worthy. I will speak no more of these blasphemies, but it does say that this scroll is one of 7 such works.
Seems like Agandaur could have written a whole lot more than just 7.
Perhaps, but creating something of this nature is not a matter of simple scribing. Considerable preparation and effort is involved. We have reason to hope there are no more than 7.
So there are 6 more of these accursed things. Maybe we can find them all.
That would be a great service to our cause. Should you recover them all, bring them to me, and I will ensure they are destroyed.
Why bring them back? I can burn up any I find the moment I get my hands on them.
You will find that works of this sort are not so easily destroyed. There are strong wards placed upon them that protect them from mundane harm. But I have the necessary skill to remove these wards. Should you gather the remaining scrolls, bring them to me, and I will see them destroyed.
You can count on that.
In the meantime, please accept this in appreciation for bringing this matter to my attention. Perhaps it will be of service to you in your travels.
One more thing. I found this book hidden away in the ruins of Fornost. It looks to be quite old.
Ah, now this is writing of an altogether more wholesome sort. This was not made by any minion of Sauron, but rather by the men of Arthedain, likely before the fall of Fornost.
Seems like that ruin has been abandoned for quite some time.
It is more than 1,000 years since the Witch King of Angmar conquered Fornost and brought about the end of the Dunedain kingdom of Arthedain. What a grim day it was.
Tell me about this realm of Arthedain.
Arthedain was the last fragment of the great northern kingdom of Arnor. The heirs of Isildur ruled as kings of Arthedain until it too was destroyed by the enemy.
But according to the rangers at the Sarn Ford, the line of their kings did not end.
It is true Isildur's line has remained unbroken, but without a kingdom to rule, they have not claimed the title of king, and have been known simply as chieftains of the Dunedain. It is our friend Aragorn who currently bears that title, although he will be the last to do so. Either he will become a king, or Isildur's line will come to an end with him.
So you think this book is a record from those days? You could be right, for we found it in a chamber that had been long sealed. Can you make out any of the writing?
Indeed. It seems to be a personal journal. And here is a name inscribed. M-A-L. Why, this appears to be a work of Malbeth, the seer of Arthedain.
Malbeth? Never heard of him.
Many of the Dunedain race are gifted with foresight, but none more than Malbeth. He predicted the final destruction of the kingdom of Arthedain, which befell exactly as he had foretold. I will examine this work carefully. Who knows what other visions are here recorded? It may be that we will find something of value to us in this time of trouble. You did well in bringing this to me. Take this in way of thanks.
Is there anything more you can tell me about this mission to the Ettenmoors?
Only that the Ettenmoors are a dangerous place at the best of times. The danger will be that much greater if the orcs and trolls are being organized by an outside force. You and your friends will need to have your wits about you.
Who could raise such a muster?
Agendaur would be my first guess, but it could also be a strong orc chieftain, or perhaps an unusually cunning troll. At worst, one or more of the Nazgul may have made their way there, if any of their mounts survived the flood we unleashed upon them.
Whatever may be happening there, you will know of it. Farewell, Master Elrond.
Those who venture into the wild must be well prepared. Examine the goods Imladris has to offer.
Magovanen, well met and welcome to the safe haven of Imladris.
My thanks. I'm much honored to meet you, Lady Arwen.
Durin's folk are welcome here. You have endured great danger and given us urgent warning of a new threat to the north. For this, we honor you, Farin.
Well, it was nothing, lady. It's nice of you fair folk to welcome a dwarf.
You show the modesty worthy of a hero. Estelle and my brothers have spoken highly of your courage at Fornost, and I thank you for your part in seeing to my brother's safe return. Please, take your ease and rest a while in our halls. You will find all your heart could desire, whether it be food, drink, song, or storytelling.
It's been many years since I first met Bilbo the Renowned. and it's an honor to meet him again. There's no one quite like him, don't you think?
I had once thought Bilbo unique. But now that I have met Frodo, I say that elves know less of hobbits than we think. They have a strength within that is far greater than their stature. How many of us, thinking ourselves strong, could have borne the ring as long as Bilbo did, without being turned to evil? It sustained him, so that he is now very old amongst his kind, but it did not stain him, nor has it lessened his love of poetry and song. Dear old Bilbo, I believe there is nothing he loves more, except a good meal. In that, he remains a true hobbit.
Bilbo asked for help with a poem. I'm fond enough of the dwarvish sort of poetry, but this elvish verse is beyond me. He asked for your help, saying the subject is a matter very close to your heart.
Then it must be about Estelle. He is fond of writing verses in honor of his good friend, and therefore often comes to me for advice. You may leave it with me, Farin. I will give it some thought and answer him myself.
Thank you, that's a relief. It's not for a dwarf to be writing lines about the kings of men. And anyway, I have little time to spare for poetry. Your father has asked me to scout the Ettenmoors.
Then I will not keep you, but we may be of service to one another. I am helping my father brew a potion known as Miraval. One sip of Miraval can renew heart and soul, and bring new vigor to weary limbs. I am in short supply of certain rare ingredients that may be found in the Ettenmoors. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring any you find while carrying out your mission. With enough ingredients, I will return the favor by brewing an extra flask that you may have for your own use.
That's a fine offer, and I thank you for it. But the Ettenmoors is no place to be picking posies. Perhaps another time.
I trust you are finding your stay in Imladris restful, Farin.
I'd happily sit for a long spell in Rivendell, but Elrond set my friends and me a task to scout the Ettenmoors. We'd best be on our way soon.
Then I will not keep you, but we may be of service to one another. I am helping my father brew a potion known as Miraval. One sip of Miraval can renew heart and soul, and bring new vigor to weary limbs. I am in short supply of certain rare ingredients that may be found in the Ettenmoors. If I gave you a list of the ingredients, perhaps you could bring any you find while carrying out your mission. With enough ingredients, I will return the favor by brewing an extra flask that you may have for your own use.
That's a generous offer, Lady Arwen. I'll keep an eye out for what you need and bring it back once I finish scouting around.
Well met, Farin. It is good of you to visit me again. My thoughts stray often to Estelle and my brothers, but also to you and your companions. I continue to brew Miraval, but I am concerned about our dwindling stocks. We still have need of those ingredients I spoke of before.
Not that I mind helping, but is this Miravor worth all the effort?
You will be able to judge for yourself if you can bring me the ingredients. One sip restores strength, uplifts the spirit, and brings hope to the weary heart. I wish you luck in your search.
I don't suppose there's anywhere else but the Ettenmoors I can look for them?
There is nowhere else they may be found without a journey of many months. For these rare ingredients, I am afraid you will need to search the Ettenmoors. But do so only if it does not risk your safety. You are more important to us than even a flask of Miraval.
If they are anywhere to be found, then you shall have them. Farewell, Lady Arwen.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Elmadris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
It's a pleasant enough place, all right. But I've already promised to search the Ettenmoors for any sign of the enemy. How about you? You don't seem like the type to sit idle for long.
No, indeed. We are to set off at once on a similar mission to your own. Only we will travel south, seeking for signs of the Nazgul or other threats. Aragorn will accompany us at least part of the way.
I take it you often join forces with Aragorn?
Yes, we often venture forth in company with the Dunedain, and none more frequently than Aragorn. He was raised here in our household, after all.
How is it that a man was raised here among elves?
It is a tradition for the heirs of Isildur to be fostered in the House of Elrond. We have sheltered all the chieftains of the Dunedain from the time the Northern Kingdom ceased to be down to this present day. Aragorn is the 16th in line from father to son to spend his early years in Imladris. This is one reason why the bond between the elves and the Dunedain is so strong.
What was it that brought you to Fornost?
We often ride far afield hunting the orcs wherever we may find them. We came upon signs of a large band of goblins making their way from the orc hold of Mount Gram and followed their trail to Fornost, where we lost no time in attacking them.
Will you tell me more about your family? I know Elrond is your father.
Yes, it was he who established the refuge of Imladris. My brother and I have dwelt here all our lives. Our sister Arwen dwells here as well, although she has spent many years in the company of our grandmother.
And your mother, does she dwell here also?
Our mother has crossed the sea and left Middle-earth. It is a bitter tale to tell. Many years past, on a journey across the Misty Mountains, our mother was captured by orcs. We searched the mountains without rest until we found her at last. Our father was able to heal her injuries, but the memory of her torment was too terrible for her to bear. At last she chose to depart for the Undying Lands. Perhaps now you understand why our hatred for the orcs is so great.
That's an awful tale to hear. I shouldn't have brought it up.
No, my friend. We have drawn swords together in the same cause. You have earned our trust. We do not wish to keep anything hidden from you. This is the evil that we have pledged our lives to destroy, just as you have.
I may need a few things before I'm ready to set out. Can anyone here help me with that?
If it is provisions or other supplies you need, you should speak with Alari. And if your arms and armor need tending, seek out Angmir. Both of them may be found nearby.
Farewell, and luck be with you.
The sun shines and all is fair and peaceful here in Elmadris. A far cry from the blood and dust of Fornost, is it not? You and your companions did very well there. Indeed, things might have gone badly for us had you not been there. You have earned some time to recover from the toils of battle and hard travel. And I believe you will find no place better for the restoration of body and spirit than this, our home.
I should prepare for my journey north. Farewell.
I trust you are not here simply to argue, Farin of Erebor.
I've been through Mirkwood. It baffles me that you Wood Elves chose to live in such a place.
Mirkwood is the greatest woodland in all of Middle-earth. It was called Greenwood the Great, before the shadow of Sauron fell over it. In ages past, it was a place of great beauty. But now, it is filled with darkness and dread, save only in the north where my father's realm is maintained.
What brought you on such a long and perilous journey?
Unpleasant business. My father sent me to report the escape of Gollum, a creature Aragorn had entrusted to our care.
What can you tell me about this Gollum?
A pathetic creature who long held the Ring of Power. The evil of the ring has left him twisted and tormented. His only thought is to recover what was taken from him.
How did Gollum manage to escape? I understood you Wood Elves were pretty good at holding prisoners. But this one got away?
Not from a lack of watchfulness, but perhaps from too much kindness. We occasionally allowed Gollum to go about the wood under close guard. But on one of these ventures, the guards were attacked by orcs from Dol Guldur. In the confusion, Gollum escaped. We followed his tracks southward for many leagues, until it drew near to Dol Guldur. There, it became too dangerous to pursue him any further.
Dol Guldur. A name of dread to my folk. What do you know of it?
A stronghold of the enemy in the south of Mirkwood. It was once the dwelling of the Dark Lord, until he was driven out in the year of the Dragon's Fall. But it has once again become a place of great evil. All the darkness that besets Mirkwood has its source in Dol Guldur.
So, will you be on your way back to Mirkwood soon?
No. I have been chosen to represent Elvenkind among the Company of the Ring. I will be accompanying the halfling, Frodo Baggins, on his journey south.
It seems a little strange that, with a house full of his own people to consider, Elrond chose you, a Wood Elf, to represent the Elven folk in the Fellowship.
I asked for the privilege, and Elrond did not refuse me. I feel he may have been relieved not to lose any of his household to this quest. He will have need of all his strength, should the enemy move against Imladris.
Why'd you volunteer?
Partially to make amends for the loss of Gollum, but more so, because this will be the final chapter in our long struggle against the darkness. And I wish to have a hand in our final victory. Or at least, to stand in the forefront of our last act of defiance.
Good luck to you, Legolas.
I trust you are not here simply to argue, Farin of Erebor.
Goodbye, Wood Elf.
Lewin has told me of your heroics in the Burrows. I am grateful to you for saving one of my rangers. It is only a pity that it was too late for poor Kalaran.
Another crime the enemy will pay for.
Kalaran dedicated his life to defending others, just as you have. You can best honor his memory by continuing to protect the North from the threat of Agandaur.
You can count on that. Goodbye, Halbarad.
I'm not doing anything wrong. Honest, I'm not.
You're welcome here, but don't do anything to excite the local folk. Everyone's a little on edge these days.
I'd best be on my way.
Thanks to you, I can arm the town should the need arise.
Who could live in a town where it's always raining? It's depressing. Yeah.
Don't mind me. Speaking with you got me dreaming of the old days. Dwarves, elves, and men fighting against orcs and goblins. Those were glorious times.
Then I've your blessing being allied with an elf?
I will speak plainly. I may be less than fond of King Thranduil's wood elves for keeping me in their dungeons, but I've no grudge with any of Elrond's folk.
So I've heard you say many times, but the elves fought beside us when it mattered most.
You're right, of course. I can be a stiff-necked old dwarf, but it's time to set aside grievances that were long ago repaid. When dwarves, men, and elves fought together at Erebor, we overcame legions of foes. But we face a far more terrible enemy in the Dark Lord. Standing together against Agandaur may be more than just a good idea. It may be our only hope to save the North.
Let's not leave out the Eagles. They've been a big help to us.
Well spoken. Thorin's quest and the Battle of Five Armies would have met disaster without the help of the Eagles. You're fortunate to have gained the friendship of such noble creatures. Your life may well depend upon your choice of friends, whatever kindred they be.
And besides, it wouldn't hurt to keep Sauron a little distracted. If we keep him second-guessing his plans for the conquest of the North, it could only help Frodo in the long run.
That's my thoughts upon the matter, too. Be the stinging fly in the ointment, as it were. Only this fly's sting will be deadly. And it's time to be about your business. Goodbye, and good luck to you.